Good morning. I'm on the central piazza in Cinisi, literally near the Palermo airport. Never in my life have I ever had such a beautiful overnight stay in a place that I picked really because it was close to the airport. I mean, I haven't heard a single plane. Look at this. That must be an escarpment of like 2,000 meters right there. I'm just really dying to tell the story of my last day in Sicily. I was called here 15 years ago when I stopped for just a few hours in Messina on a gay cruise from Rome to Athens. I was with a client who brought me on a 5-star cruise on a sailing vessel for 150 naked men, and we stopped in Messina on the eastern tip of Sicily, and I was in love. I said, I mean, we were going to Mount Etna, a cold, snow-covered volcano, and passing by these beaches where I knew they were full of men in Speedos or naked, and our gay guide confirmed that there are so many wonderful beaches in Sicily, so many places you can get naked. And I waited 15 years, and I finally came back. I spent the first week with my beloved, a lover from the States who spends a lot of time in Italy, and we went to an island with a volcano in the middle of it. And then we parted again on our journeys, and they went to be with their family in Napoli, and I went to the gay beach. I wanted a beach I could get to by train and bus and walk, and I didn't want to drive a car in Sicily right now. And I stayed in the beach town for a few days, just east of here. It's called Balestrate. I did a lot of video blog posts about my gay cruising experiences and what came out of it in the end. Oh, wow, deep breath. I used to have a friend that did BDSM work professionally. I mean, now I do, but he did serious BDSM work with tying people up, handcuffs, chains, slings, dungeons, you name it. He said, sometimes when I thought I was about to have, just a frivolous, kinky experience with someone, it would go so deep, like you can really transform someone's life just with something that you think you're going to do just for fun, that's a little bit kinky. And that's what happened to me at the gay beach. My life got transformed. First, I met the Italian bears. I mean, these furry men were so sweet. I speak almost no Italian. They spoke some English, and yet the smiles, the laughter, I even sang them a song. I mean, never in my life have I ever had, I can't say ever, I've had a lot of rich experiences, but I don't remember having such a beautiful reception at a gay cruising area. I mean, it's a beach sandwiched in between so-called regular beaches on either side with a nature preserve behind it. So you meet men on the beach, and then you can go cruising in the forest. I met the Italian bears. I was in love. I thought that was love at first sight. And then the next day, on a Monday, when there was almost no one on the beach, I found myself lying down right between my two dads. Now, first of all, let me say, my father died when he was barely older than I am now. He was a heartbroken man. He had a sense of humor, but he was really wounded emotionally and at a heart level by being asked to go and fight a war he did not believe in Vietnam in the late 60s, 4 years before I was born. I loved him, and my relationship with him deepened after his death, because I feel that we are able to repair and mend relationships with people long after they leave this earthly plane. I have a beautiful relationship with my father now, and yet I don't take it lightly to say I met my two dads yesterday. Although I must say that there are men all over Sicily that look like my dad. And I don't think that's an accident, because my dad's older brother outlived him by 20 years. And he told me before he died that their mother, my grandmother, had Italian blood. I never saw documentation of it. But my dad's older brother was a historian. He taught history. He was my high school history teacher. And he told me that we have Italian blood in our family. I haven't done the DNA test, but let me tell you, after my experience at the beach yesterday with two dads and mixing our DNA, DNA, blood test, whatever, there is a connection with this land. So I lay down between these two men because I don't speak Italian and they don't speak English. And the best way I knew to communicate was la lingua di corpo. La lingua di corpo, the language of the body. I mean, when I touched them, it was sweet. Now, granted, I have to catch a bus in a minute, so this is going to be a great exercise in me telling a short story in short form. But when I lay down between them, I knew that I could communicate with them, even though one of them immediately went right for my cock. I mean, he's got his hand on my dick and his other hand poking at my butthole like I'm just kind of like a piece of meat to prod at. And I didn't take it personally. I just took it as, here's a really hungry man that probably hasn't had a lot of opportunities to openly make love with a man. You know, there's always the threat that someone in your family is going to judge you. Who knows, he could have been married. He lives in a culture that I can't really speak for because I don't know it, but I do know that a lot of men carry shame all over the world, and this man's hands on my body told me he had shame. So I said, sometimes since I don't know how to say things in Italian, I'll say what I can in Spanish, hoping maybe the point will get across better than English, and it does. The languages are closer cousins, much closer than English and Italian. So I said, me gusta tocar. I like to touch. He said, oh really? And then I directed his hands to hold my heart. And we lay on the beach for a while until he saw a woman coming down the beach, and he just quickly took his hands off, as if two men hugging, lying down naked on the beach might send a distress signal, and it probably would in this culture. I don't know how to round up the story. Maybe it's to be continued, but I will say I had a dilemma. I only could spend an hour at the beach because I had a bus to catch. Not only did I have a bus to catch to get me to this town, Sicily, for the night, but I did not know, God, does that mean it's time for my bus? Not only did I have a bus to catch to get to this town to spend the night, but I didn't know where the bus stop was, and I didn't know how to ask anyone. So with Google Translate, I'm trying to ask them, where is the bus that they say is the substitute for the train that's not running right now? And that was not easy to communicate via Google Translate. And they're calling in everybody they can on the beach to try to find out, like, you know, all four of us on the beach on a Monday morning at 10 o'clock, how to get me to the bus stop. And finally, they developed a plan that they were going to take me. They were going to take me to find the bus stop. And before it was all over, I never got to the bus. And it was perfect because the plan they had developed was beyond my wildest dreams. Beyond my wildest dreams. And that, I believe, is going to have to be the next part of this video.